Continuing our discussion from previous videos about how to switch the body from the sympathetic or fight or flight state nervous system to a parasympathetic relaxed state, we're going to talk about when we experience an emotional trigger that takes us into that spot. How to, instead of going to the stories in our head that perpetuate, improve our belief systems, that perpetuate that trigger, that emotional state, we're instead going to bypass that and deal with the other brains, our gut, our heart, those centers that are going off of more information from our environment. That if we can engage those energy centers instead, we can release that block that is occurring at where that false belief system crashes, contradicts the energy of truth that our body does know. When it conflicts, it creates that block. It creates a wobble, distortion in our field, as we discussed earlier, and we are cut off from that information and stuck in that fight or flight state. If we can instead center in the body, release that block, reestablish that flow, then we're able to go off of more information. We're able to switch into a relaxed state where we can, in fact, rationalize that emotional trigger, heal it, clear it, and no longer have that distortion in our field. I'm speaking from personal experience as I've learned to completely change the way that I live, the way that I think, my belief systems, in order to keep my immune system up and fight my chronic illness. So going over those energy centers and how to engage. To start with our gut. Sometimes when we feel an emotional trigger, it can show up as a knot in our stomach or a tightness in our gut. Now, just like an exercise, when you want to engage or focus on a muscle, you flex it, right? So we're going to squeeze our gut. Breathing over the top, you're going to squeeze those muscles in together and squeeze it. And we're going to put the focus there. Now, the tendency when we're emotionally triggered is to think about it, right? Why we're so upset. So it's going to take some conscious practice and awareness to instead go, no, okay, I'm listening to my stomach. That information is coming in. Every time we feel a sensation in our body, it's our body communicating. That's the gift that I found. The positive is the pain in my body was always a signal that I used to ignore, right? That you need to stop, you need to slow down, you need to pay attention to something. Our body is on our team. It's working with us. So we want to listen to our gut and understand, okay, what's the message here? Where's the distortion in my field? What am I believing that's not true about myself that is creating this stress? So as you continue to squeeze, breathe in and allow that awareness to be focused on your stomach, there's a point where you're going to feel that energy release. And when it releases, then we're ready to listen. Then we're ready to hear truth. We're ready to respond to the person that we are in conflict with in our state. So that's the first energy center. Now our heart. To engage our heart, I want you to think about constricting your shoulders. So pushing your shoulders together, almost like you're hugging your heart from the outside. Squeeze that together. So when that emotional trigger shows up as a tightness in our chest, which I found is common when it's a loved one that I'm feeling hurt by, that I'm telling myself an old story, maybe that I'm not lovable, then I feel that tightness. So you want to squeeze that center, squeeze that heart, and just acknowledge, okay, instead of going to that story, that belief, okay, heart, tuning in, and let that energy release. Breathe through, take some deep breaths, constricting that energy center, and you're going to find at that point in time when it releases, you'll be able to see the situation more clearly. Now, it's the same thing with our throat. Now, the way they engage the throat, some of you will appreciate this, Darth Vader. So we're breathing in and out. It's an aggressive Ujjayi breathing, is a common term for the yogic breathing. Aggressive breathing through that energy center because we want to break through that block where that stored energy is and maintain that flow. Okay, now the next center, this one's a little bit trickier. right here, we get a headache. It would get sinus headaches right through here. This is our third eye energy center. And the way that we engage that is close your eyes, and then I want you to think about rolling your eyes to the back of your head until you feel some pressure there. Feel some tightness. We're putting the focus on the center of our head, but you're rolling those eyes back and then breathing in and out through that spot. You might see flashes of light. You might have some tightness. It might be a little painful at first. You're going to find this gets easier as you practice breathing through that center. So that's how to engage the energy centers. We're going to incorporate this information, this knowledge of this into an aggressive breathing called central channel breathing that can help break through those blocks by practicing on a regular basis, restoring that energetic flow throughout our body, thereby removing distortions in our field and allowing us to respond to the world around us with a clearer perspective.